All right. Hello and welcome everyone to AMA session on navigating your career or life in general. You see that I'm on a makeshift setup. Uh, my laptop has gone for repairs. So, okay, I'm just hoping that this works and the battery lasts. Let's see. I think it should last for over an hour, but let's see. All right. If you have a question about navigating your career or life in general, put it in the chat. Try to uh, share as much context as you can. That way, I can share more specific action items for you. And yeah, we'll go in a first come, first serve order. I see a bunch of questions in the chat already. So let me get started on that. If you have a follow up question on that particular, uh, what do you say, context itself, then reply on that particular message itself, not a new one. So let's say if I'm answering a particular question and you, as the question poster, have a follow up question, then don't put a new message. नहीं तो फिर I will not feel कि I will not know कि where it is because I have a lot of messages. So just post as a reply to the same question. So when you see a message on the right hand side, you should see a reply to that message. All right, let's start with the first one. All right. Lokesh says, "Hey, I'm a front-end developer with 5 years of experience and recently started learning backend. Is it a good option to become full stack dev or should I focus on AI? If I have to focus on AI, where should I start?" All right. So let's understand what AI does from first principles. AI is like a calculator for the 21st century. All right. So what happened when calculator came into the picture? A lot of things, a lot of calculations that were being done by hand or manually, suddenly they were now able to do it very fast using a calculator. Similarly, whatever things you're doing right now, think of AI as an accelerator to do the same things 30% faster. So let's say if you're a front-end developer, in your case, it would be developing websites, landing pages, user flows, but faster. If you're a backend developer, you will be writing APIs, building systems, but faster. When I say faster, I simply mean that whatever was taking, let's say, uh, 5 days or a week, now it can be done in, let's say, 3 days, right? Or 4 days, right? Like there is some productivity improvement there. And why it is not like not going 5 का 1 क्यों नहीं हो रहा है 5 का 0.5 क्यों नहीं हो रहा है just because the ownership of the code still lies with you, which means you still have to review the code, which if you go one level deeper, which means you have to understand what has been written. All right. So when you say just regarding your context, you are a front end dev already and you have started learning backend recently, which means front end may you have 5 years, backend may if you have said recently started, so I'm assuming less than 6 months. So 5 years ka front end experience hai, 0.5 ka back end experience. It's like a 10 times difference. Now the options that you are asking, either become full stack or should I focus on AI? All right. So the thing with AI is now with this current skill set, if you focus on AI, what will end up happening is the thing that you are already a master at, which is front end, that you'll be able to do a bit faster. But it is sort of like a race against time because the models themselves are getting better and better. So let's say whatever base um, uh, website the model could build 1 year back versus 2 years back versus 3 years back, that is getting better and better. So if you're already at a what do you say at some experience level, AI is like coming to you in some steps. It will not come tomorrow, it will not come in 6 months, but somewhere in 5-10 years it will come, right? If you just focus on AI, I don't think it will be the right foundations for you. Once you have a good understanding of backend, then I would suggest then you can go to AI afterwards because whatever you learn in AI right now, it is for a short term thing. When I say short term thing, I mean that if you're immediately looking out for a job switch, then in your current context, it makes sense. If you're not looking immediately कि immediately 3 महीने में नहीं देखना है job switch, then I won't recommend in your context putting time on AI now. What I would recommend, put explore backend, build solid foundations there, and then you go to AI because those solid foundations will actually help you um, more in the long term. Let me know if you have any follow-up questions. You can just reply to that message itself. If you have a follow-up question, say question, and then I'll wait for your question. If you don't have a follow-up question, you can say clear. So I know I can move to the next question. So just reply on that message itself. So I can go to the next one. All right, all right. New replies. Okay, this is a very weird interface. I'm getting a new replies, but I don't know what is the reply. So I need to click it. Okay, I see here. Perfect. Let's go to the next one. Akshay here, total experience 12 years. Okay, that's great. Freelancer, remote job 4 years. Yeah, I think that's like one of the best things when you get experience, right? Then, like keeping COVID or the remote forced pandemic aside, in general, as you gain experience, you tend to go remote. Uh, so 12 years with 4 years remote is great. What I usually see people doing because of COVID was 5 years experience, and out of that 4 years is remote. Okay, coming back. Front end heavy, full stack engineer. That's great. Currently TypeScript. Already built agents with Claude. Currently using Mastra. Also exploring new open source projects daily. Every time I want to build something, turns out it's already been in open source free. Really don't know where to go. Um, okay, so actually, what is the goal of this exploration? Like, is it you want to uh, build something new for learning, or you want to build something new for like monetization? What is that? Let me see. Having opportunity to build app in a day, also making it hard to find something to focus on. Increase income potential. Yes, yes. I think that is something that is like very hard. So one is building, the other is selling, and I would say I can maybe give we can maybe talk more one on one for this, and I'll just sort of link it here because like we are basically asking how do I improve my non-tech skills. What I mean by non-tech skills is um, how do I improve my product sense? How do I select which product has income potential? So that is one skill. Then how do I market it? How do I sell it? So there are a bunch of things there. So like not the like I don't want to go into that tangent right now. So I'm just sharing a link, and you can sort of uh, there is a place to do a one-on-one discussion with me. So we can do that. So you can go to my website swapnil.net, and you can share everything. We can talk one-on-one. Like I don't want to put time because I want to like focus this to a tech discussion. All right. How is HR as a career option? I'm 24 graduate, worked with HR domain. Should I continue with HR or continue in IT itself? Uh, Constant upskilling is tough. HR looks stable. So I would say in the IT industry, okay, the name I was going to call, but the name just says Samsung. Okay, Samsung. Um, the HR and anything in IT, there's nothing stable in IT, and you would have seen a lot of news about all of the IT layoffs and all. That is always there in the IT industry. There's nothing called as a stable thing, and every few months, uh, some field gets picked, and usme optimization starts happening. So all in all, if you want stability, go for a government job. If you're in a private job, the stability never comes from the company or the domain. Stability only comes from your skills. So, uh, depending on how your upskilling resilience is, if you're in IT, if you're in like software development, like anything in tech, it could be in any domain, you will have to keep learning new things. If not every month, at least every year or every 2 years. Like if you cannot be ki, okay, abhi I have graduated in 24 and then 28 tak I don't want to learn anything new. So nahi hoga. Matlab, that is uh, like I know this is a very like contradictory thing to what our parents used to say कि भाई 10वीं निकाल लो 12वीं निकाल लो 8वीं निकाल लो कॉलेज निकाल लो मजे ही मजे ऐसा नहीं है लाइफ में so especially in IT in the private sector there is upskilling is always there everyone around me all of my family members all of my relatives all of my friends I myself everyone keeps learning new things, if not every month, at least every year. So that is always going to be there. If you feel ki this is tough, then you can go to HR. The only thing with other domains is other domains are more at risk because um, the easier a thing is, the better or the faster or easier it is to automate. So compared to everything, like tech is still something that is going to take a lot more time to get automated. So from that perspective, I would say that stability wise, software or tech is better. HR looks stable because uh, it is just like not being innovated yet. But what that also means is the kind of growth opportunities there will be limited. So what will end up happening is if you have like a friend circle of 5 people or 10 people, if let's say 2 3 people or let's say 5 people are in HR, 5 people are in tech, what will end up happening is the HR will grow like this and the software people will grow like this. So this kind of divergence will happen. And I've seen this happen with a lot of people whom I talk to. And then after a time, it gets very hard to come back. So I would say ki, if you like it, if you have slight interest, continue in IT. If you don't, if you are okay with uh, giving up that exponential returns wala thing, then like HR is great. Like nothing bad in HR. The job is good, the work is real, and like some people say, right, कि अरे HR का क्या ही काम रहता है ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. HR is very hard job. It's just that it is very different from a IT thing. So if you like HR, like go for it. The only caveat being that this divergence will be there. So you will always see that uh, like X का 2x नहीं होगा HR में. Like X का 1.1x, 1.2x, like that kind of progression will be there. If you are personally okay with that thing, if you have low expenses, like nothing like it. All right. If you have a follow-up question, type questions. I'll wait. If you are clear, just type as a reply clear. So I'll move to the next one. I can't even call out the name Samsung. Like, are you there? Or have you already left? Okay, I have zero idea. Okay, let's move to the next one. How relevant is okay? I see here. All right, thanks. I think you shared in the common thing, right? Please don't share in the common thing, right? Because it gets very hard. In your message itself, whatever are your follow-up messages, reply on that itself. Okay. Krishna asks how relevant is fast API Python for backend jobs right now? It is not as relevant for backend jobs. It is more relevant for AI jobs. So if you're specifically targeting AI heavy role, then fast API Python is the choice because there's a lot of support around this. And in general, like जैसे front end में React बन गया था वैसे ही AI heavy backend में fast API Python sort of is being established. So backend for backend, I won't say this is the uh, stack. For backend, you can do Java, Python, Golang, even Node also. Like any one of these four work. For AI heavy or AI specific backend role, fast API Python is the thing. All right. Uh, I feel this was a very short question. How relevant is this? So any like is this clear or do you have more questions? You can just reply on that itself. All right. Somehow I'm seeing that folks are not replying on the question itself. They are putting a new message. Or maybe it's my interface. I don't know. It's a new setup for me. Okay, let's go to the next one. Yash says, I have about 9 months of um, experience at an early stage startup working with the MERN and Python. All right. 9 months, 9 months early stage MERN and Python. We only have two developers. All right. All right. Okay. And my notice period is 90 days. All right. I want to switch. How should I approach the job market with a long notice period? All the work I do is with AI. I feel I'm not learning, required to be a good developer here. All right. Okay. Um, so yes, this case is very tricky. Long notice periods are tricky to handle in India. The thing that sort of like I'm sure you know the problems already. I'll just say it for other folks here. The main problem that happens is when you're applying to any company, nobody wants to interview people with long notice periods because let's say they clear it and the company rolls out an offer letter. Um, the candidate, I'm not saying Yash will do it. I'm saying in general, 50% से ज़्यादा probability है that that candidate will take that offer and continue interviewing for the next 90 days and get a better offer, right? And companies don't want that. So in general, like very hard to get out of this scenario. What most people end up doing in this case is they take a bet and they sort of put down their papers and um, then they sort of apply. So if you're okay with the potentially a few months of gap because you don't know whether you'll get something immediately or not. So if you're like so there's an upside, there's a downside. Upside is you get into a great company with the more progress, more developers, more learning, etc. Right? And the downside or the risk here is possible that for a few months we don't have a job. So if you're okay with the downside, then you can sort of take that bet. And like that is something depends on your financial constraints and other things. But yeah, in general, um, notice period ka the way to tackle is like how most people tackle is you put down the papers. What is an ideal notice period? No, ideal notice period is 30 days. Like 60 पे भी same problem आता है. All right. Um, yeah. So understand from a company's perspective, right? Let's say if they have given you an offer today and you put down a paper tomorrow. So आज क्या है? Let's say आज what is it? Let me see the date. 30th June, right? So let's say if they give you an offer tomorrow, which is um, something is happening. Okay. Okay. Let's say if they give you an offer tomorrow, 1st July, you'll put down a paper 1st July, 1st August, 1st September, you will join. So you still have 60 days to continue interviewing, right? So again, the offer to joining ratio is very low for 60 days also. So usually 30 days is the max. Like either companies want immediate joiners or till 30 days they will go. Yeah, 30 days works. Okay. Um, should I target startups or MNCs? Um, like I would suggest if you want you are saying ki you want to learn the best practices, right? So startup will never have a best practice, even if the startup is um, is not two developers and 20 developers. Startup will not have good practices because in a startup, the main goal of that startup is to survive. They want to raise the next round of funding so that they don't die. So they will never care about best practices. If you have already worked in a startup and now your goal is to learn best practices, then you should target bigger companies who don't have to sort of think about their funding. So yeah, you should target MNCs in that scenario if that matters to you. Does it make sense? All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, Kajendra says, I have 4 years of experience, but I don't have a college degree. Right now, I'm going through a difficult time. Will I still be able to get better opportunities at a better company? Okay, 4 years experience, degree is okay. Um, See, the college degree mostly matters to start your career. All right. Um, when you already have experience, and in this particular case, you have 4 years of experience. What that means is um, for 48 months, a company has continuously subscribed to your services, right? Like think about on Netflix or any other places, uh, you continuously renew, right? Similarly, 4 years means 48 times your services have been renewed, which means ki they were good, right? So I don't think the college degree is going to create problems after you have like this much experience. Will I still be able to get opportunities? Yeah, I think based on your skills. Like I said, college matters to get into the industry. Now it will all be about the work that you have done at these 4 years. So think about this, right? College ke 4 saal determines the next entry, which is your first workplace. Now you have 4 years of work experience. If you think of that as your college, now whatever you switch, whatever wherever you go next, that gets determined by the work you've done in these 4 years. So yeah, uh, like forget or don't think about the college degree as much. Focus on putting your best foot forward based on the work you have done. Like yeah, I don't think you should be um, um, affecting that much. All right, doesn't make sense. Are there any follow-up questions? So if you have a follow-up question, you can just reply on that message with question. So I'll wait for it. Or you can reply with clear. So I'll move to the next one. And this is because it's very hard to go back and forth. I think most of the recruiters check the college degree even on the registration. They they do, yes, but it is not a filter because your work, see, um, let's say, okay, how do I put this? Let's say I'm hiring for a particular JD, right? I want someone who has done X and Y in front end, or I want someone who has done ABC in back end, right? So of course, the college name will be there on the resume, but more than that, what the HR or the recruiter wants to see is what is the overlap in what the job role requires you to do and what you have already done. And like I can tell you this with experience, like there are some bad recruiters so to say who don't know कि कैसे evaluate करते हैं. They might be resorting to such things, but nowadays everyone understands that even if they will, at the end of the day, the person needs to clear the interview. The HR's goal is to get people shortlisted such that most people clear the interview. That is the whole, uh, that is their JD basically. So now they have also realized with time that matching what the job requires with what you have already done in your prior work, that will lead to a higher interview to clearing ratio or an interview to offer ratio. Like there are like multiple ratios in the pipeline. There is a shortlisting to interview ratio, interview to offer ratio, offer to joining ratio. So HR needs to optimize for everything. In this particular case, they are optimizing the interview to join, interview to offer ratio. So uske liye we need to match that. So what he's saying is correct. Ki some HRs might just check the college degree, but I can tell you that most of them don't, or most of the good ones don't. And like think of it this way, right? अगर किसी company में वैसा हो रहा है, you don't anyway want to go to that company anyway, right? If there are 100 companies, there will be a few companies, yes, जहाँ पे ऐसे filtering हो रहा है, but then you don't want to go to that company. Does it make sense? All right. Let's go to the next one. Japan says, I have worked in startups for 5 years on front end, SD3. How can I target companies like Microsoft, Apple, etc.? Will they say I don't have big company experience? How will the interview rounds look like? And how should I prepare? Um, I think you know the answer already. And like I there's no like two ways about it. Like if you're targeting your top or your MNCs or your fangs, the the most predictable answer right now is doing DSA, and it is sort of like a few months or maybe a year or two of focused grinding, so to say, and that is what everyone ends up doing, and then they sort of do that. So um, if you have experience, you want to go to Fang, like that is the safest or the most level field, level playing field wala thing. Anything else might work, might not work, but that is like bound to work. Like you put in the time, if you put in the effort, that is bound to work, and you have to do it once. You don't have to do it like uh, every year, right? You will do it once, and then you understand everything, and then like that. That is how they hire currently. If you want to wait for let's say 5 years more and wait ki how AI changes their interview process, then that is like your decision. Like, but as of now, let's say if you want to target this year itself, next year itself, immediately अगर करना है, the safest and the most predictable way is DSA. Like that is there. Like you can't debate with that. Will they say I don't have big company experience? So DSA is a level playing field. It doesn't matter what your resume is. 100 people apply, they just rank by the score. That's all. All right. Okay. Shubham says, I am currently learning Node with Postgres, have 2 years of experience with a few years gap in my career, and I'm earning a bit with freelancing. That's it. I'm in my late 20s. Should I do MTech from a tier one college or invest money to learn AI in 1 year AI courses or those executive masters after getting even low pay job? Um, all right, all right. So if I so if I have to say um, if you have financial constraints, I don't recommend doing masters or any other course because what will end up happening is you will lose that those 2 years, right? And it will not help a lot in the like career wise. So I would recommend like if you're already working, if you're earning like non-zero, like even if you're earning like 1 rupee, that means ki you have moved past the education system. Abhi, you don't need to go back to the education system. You only take something for accelerating your thing. But abhi तुम्हें चाहिए कि भाई how do I like go to uh, a new thing or a like how do I progress further? I would suggest, let's say you're learning Node with Postgres, just go all in on it for 3 months, 6 months. If you know React front end already, just go into advanced React for a few months. So all of the resources you need are out there. You can uh, go to YouTube. You can even use AI. You can like use a lot of resources which are already there. Since you have mentioned that money at this point matters a lot, you mentioned that earning a little bit and uh, should I invest money, right? So from those signals, I'm saying that if money matters, don't do masters. You're only like so three things, right? One is those 2 years are a waste, right? Because those 2 years you're not in a job. So whatever you were working, usme some increment will happen in 2 years, right? You're losing that. Second thing, you are like spending money also. So one thing is you're not earning money for those 2 years. Then second thing is you're spending money also. And then the third thing is ki whatever is being taught in MTech, like might not even be relevant right now. So like think of your BTech, right? If BTech helped you in your tech learnings, like similarly, like for me, it did not, and most of the people I talked to did not. So unlikely that MTech might also help. So yeah, I would just suggest that. And you are not even at the starting point, right? You are at a good place. You know React already. You're learning Node Postgres already. Just like go all in on that. I do get calls from HRs, but profile is not getting shortlisted when it goes through hiring team. Okay, so that's a more concrete thing, right? If you're getting calls from HRs, that means like whatever you're doing is working. Now, if you want to uh, shortlist more, so basically we need to do two things. One is improve your resume, and the second is add more complex projects on your portfolio. All right. So uh, for improving your resume, I'm sharing a link in the chat. Okay, I've shared a link in the chat for improving your resume. You can go through that. And for adding projects, I would say that um, pick one or two complex projects based on your skills and like add that on your resume. That should help in getting shortlisted. One more thing I would recommend is if you're getting calls from HRs, what you can also do is find some people from the tech team of the same company and email them with a 1 minute video of yourself. All right. And you can say that, hey, I had a discussion with your HR, which means that, I'm like a fit for whatever you're looking for. And you just pitch yourself for an interview there. So what I'm saying is, if you're getting calls from HRs, you know that that company is hiring. You know that whatever they are looking, you have it, right? So now you bypass that HR and like reach out to tech team, their engineering manager, the tech leads, the CTO. So whichever emails or LinkedIn you can find of folks from that company, you reach out from there, and you might get a better response. And one thing to keep in mind, like whenever I say this, people do this, but then they don't get response, but they forget to do this, which is to send a video introduction. Like don't send like text. Text nobody reads. You send a 1 minute Loom video introduction. All right. So you send a 1 minute Loom link where you talk about yourself, your skills, your projects. All right. Um, if you have a follow-up question, type question in the chat. If you're clear, then write clear. All right. Let's move to the next one. Nitish says 3 years of experience, currently work from home. Nice. The company offered a founding role, but it is in office, Mumbai. Amazing. They are paying similar to my current employer. Should I switch? I'm trying to optimize both savings and career. I feel learning at my like like before reading anything itself. 3 years of experience, which means you are in your learning. There are two things, right? Diverge, converge. First 10 years are for learning, and then you sort of optimize. 3 years means you're in the learning phase, you work from home, um, then you are being offered in office, and they are paying the same. So you're not getting underpaid there, right? I would suggest just switch. You will have 10 times more learning in office. There's nothing like work from home is a scam. All right. It just feels very very nice that you're with your family, and like, it is nice, feels nice की बात नहीं है. It is nice. uh, हर 2 घंटे में खाना आता रहता है, right? So I think everything is nice, but from a career perspective it's not great. So, and this is like an exceptional thing just because of COVID. Before that, IT roles were never remote for junior people. Junior matlab less than 5 6 years of experience. So for that, I would say, yeah, like if I were you, I would switch. I feel learning at my current company has plateaued and the team size is small. New company seems a little better in this aspect. Um, like I said, work from home versus in office, always choose in office. Even if it is paying 1 lakh less, choose in office. And the main reason is because in work from home, you are just learning from your own project. If there are 10 people, they are doing 10 other works. Work from home, you have no way to learn from them. In an office, you have two people on your left, two people on your right. They are discussing, you are listening, they are coming to your place, you are going to their place. So there's a lot of cross learning that happens, which cannot happen in a Zoom setting. So yeah, I would suggest you should uh, go in office. Yeah. All right. Um, if you have follow-up question, type questions. I'll wait. If you're clear, put clear as a reply on your message itself. Okay, I'm not sure. Is Nitish there? Should we move forward? Okay. I am not sure where it is Nitish, so we will move forward. Ankit says, "Can we talk on mic?" Uh, it is just easier and faster for me to read and reply, because when you're writing things down, it forces you to put all the context in the message itself. Otherwise, what will happen is we take like a lot of minutes to get the context out, and then like it just takes 3 times more time. So yeah, I prefer putting it down here itself. If you have a more uh, what do you say, more complex discussion, then you can stay till the end, and like if once we have covered everyone, then we can take your thing. All right. uh Alka says, "Hi, I'm currently working as an equity analyst, okay, in a trading firm in Gujarat." Yeah, Gujarat has all these trading things. What I do is buy, sell companies in NSE on a day-to-day basis, and the difference of the price becomes my company's P&L. Yeah, typical of trading firm. It's been a year. First few months were great. Then uh, Feb 15th, RBI passed a law. Yeah. This was yeah. I think RBI made a ton of changes earlier this year, and some of my friends who were in like trading firms, yeah, it's bad. Okay, RBI passed a law which disallowed banks to give loans, and so our capital became half. 70% of my team walked out sadly. All right, I'm still here. Luckily, what to do? Currently, I'm trying to both learn um, take and upload YouTube videos. I don't want to sound like a doomer, but this is my life. See, I think uh, I'll tell you the great thing. The great thing is you are still here, right? And personally, I know some of my friends, and when I say my friends, I would like what I mean to say is कि people who are much older than you in similar scenarios. And what happens when you're much older and come in a similar scenario is you have a lot of responsibilities. You might have like housing loans, you might have EMIs, you might have car loans, you might have children, right? So, uh, like that situation is much worse. So comparatively, um, I'm assuming you don't have a lot of responsibilities right now. Plus, you are still there, right? So that is great. These ups and downs keep happening, keep happening in the IT industry, the private sector. Job security is only in government. IT may this happens. There are a lot of people who do few years of job, then there's a gap, then few years again, then there's a gap. So this all keeps happening. So you don't need to uh, worry about that. It is just that these kind of things uh, never get bubbled up on social media, right? Let's say on social media, someone says, "Hey, I lost my job," या ये हो गया, वो हो गया. Nobody likes it, right? Once someone says, "Ki, hey, I got a 30% hike, I got a 50% hike," everyone will say, like, comment, etc. And why people do it? Because people ask in the comment, like, tell me how you did it, give me the resources, give me the roadmap, right? So people are also selfish. People want to get something out of their success. So that's why they engage with that content. And what ends up happening is only that kind of content comes up to the top. So what I'm trying to say is that in the social media bubble, you might feel that you are sort of alone या फिर अरे मेरे साथ ही क्यों हो रहा है ऐसा. But you'll be surprised at how many people I talk to in a similar situation. So this happens. That's okay. एंड करियर्स आर 30-40 years लॉन्ग. ऐसा नहीं है कि भाई अभी हमने जो कर लिया वो कर लिया एंड देन आफ्टर 1-2 years वी आर गोइंग टू बी रिटायर्ड और व्हाटएवर. दैट्स नॉट द केस. We will be working for 30-40 years, right? So from that perspective, these short-term ups and downs, you are in a P&L, you are in a trading firm, right? So ups and downs are part of life, right? And you can never predict it, right? You might say कि अरे अब ये स्टॉक ऊपर जाएगा बट नहीं जाता है. You might put a stop कि नहीं अभी ये नीचे जाएगा बट नहीं जाता है. So that keeps happening. So it's a part of life. I would say working as an analyst in an equity in a trading firm, the key learning for you personally should be detachment from outcomes. As someone who is working in the trading in the market, you live with certain set of principles, which is first principle is don't die. What that means is don't get out of capital. If some opportunity comes and you don't have capital to invest in, like there's no point, right? People say, right, buy the dip. Dip to aayega, but you need to be there to buy, right? Similarly, opportunities come and go. But it's not like you हर महीने आएगी opportunity. You cannot say. It could be the case that for months there's nothing. But when it comes, you need to uh, be mentally ready. You have to have that energy. You have to sort of bounce on whenever the opportunity comes. So um, I would suggest focus on the positive, which is you're still here, you're working, and the thing about you're saying कि भाई you're trying to do a bunch of things. Uh, that is that my friend is part of. Like everyone does it. Like people might not admit it, but in a country like India, which where the the bragging point of us is key, we have a very high population. What that means is there are 10 people ready to do the same thing that we can, right? So that's always going to be there. So work rahega. It is just about how you manage everything around it, and you do it from a long term perspective, from a marathon perspective. Ki you make your mind ki अभी marathon uh, भागना है. If you are 25, 30, whatever, अभी 30 साल और मैराथन भागना है, स्प्रिंट नहीं करना है. You don't want to like run very fast for a few years and then burn out and then one day flip tables. So yeah, hope um, you got something uh, from this. If you have a follow-up question, type a question. Otherwise, yeah. Okay. What do you think if tomorrow I have to walk away? Will it be okay for me to do some menial jobs for a while till I get a new office job? I am from Kolkata in Gujarat for 1 year. Should I go back to my home after a month of living? Um, I think it should be okay to do any kind of a job as long as it's paying. It should be okay. All jobs are good. In terms of going back, I would suggest um, as long as you set aside some budget, as long as it allows for you to continue living there in Gujarat or in that area, like wherever there are more opportunities, if you are sort of if you have some budget to live in areas with higher opportunity, do that. You put like a stop loss, like again I'm using uh, market terms. You put a stop loss, okay, this much I will do. If nothing happens, then you go back. So yeah, that should be okay. All right. Okay, I'm reading some DMs. Okay. Folks who are saying asking for a one-on-one, I you can go to my website swapnil.net and you can put your career context there and we can discuss one-on-one if there's like a bigger question. All right, let's go to the next one. Um, this is something I've done. This is something I've done. Okay, I have lost my. Um, okay, I really know. Okay, I'll have to start from the start, I guess. Okay, I have answered Samsung. I've answered Nitish. Um, okay, I think Yashas I've not answered it. Okay. I am a full stack dev. I had to leave my former company since I felt there was not enough development at my place of work. I needed to look for something new. I have 1 year experience. Now there is a gap. From your point of view, how is this gap treated when hiring someone? Um, it doesn't matter. See, the good thing you have going for you, we should be focusing on that. The good thing is we are an immediate joiner. All right, and we have prior experience. What that means is when we join another company, we don't have to learn the corporate culture. We don't have to learn the uh, corporate hygiene or like how to work with people. We have done that. So we sort of put that foot forward. We know already how to work with in the corporate environment. And then we also play on the fact that we are an immediate joiner. And whatever is the gap, we sort of cover that gap. We showcase some good projects that we have built or learned new things in that time period. So I think you mentioned November 2025, right? So it's almost 6 months now. 6 months may one or two projects, if you can just put in that timeline, I think it should be good. What do companies want? Companies are not against gaps. Companies are against people without skills, right? That is what you need to understand. So if you already worked somewhere, that means you have skills. If your whatever they are looking for in their JD, if you have some projects, if you have some proof that you can handle complexity, they like you should be good to go. And like I said, most companies want immediate joiners, right? So in that case, you would be at the top of their list. So uh, yeah, this gap should be okay. If you have a follow-up question, you can type question and I'll wait. Uh, if not, you can mention clear and I'll move forward. Okay, I'm not sure. Are you here? Okay, not sure. Okay, okay. I see. You said that IT is 40 years, but I do not see old people in the company. Okay, which company is this? Can you share the name? How many people are there? But you're saying in general, IT industry, we don't see old people. Okay. So like which companies? Like give me some companies where you're saying that there are no old people. Any examples that come at top of your mind? Could be anything. Like I'm not looking for 10 names. Like just give me one or two names. I've seen some videos that IT is for youngsters. Okay. Okay. But forget about videos, right? You are specifically stating a statement. I have not seen any old people in IT industry. So I'm saying to support that statement, can you give me your like data points? Okay, I have looked at these 100 companies. Forget 100. I have looked at these 10 companies, and these are the oldest people at those 10 companies, 100 companies. What I'll recommend doing is like I'm assuming you have not done that. So there can be 10 people who can say 10 different things. I can say something, someone else can say something, someone else can say something else. Okay. So debate say nothing gets solved, right? Any argument, any discussion uh, only can get ended by numbers, pure data. So what I would recommend is pick 10 companies, like do like a what क्या बोलते हैं उसको spinning wheel, whatever, however you want to pick 10 companies, you pick 10 companies and then you see what are the oldest people there. And uh, uh, I know we are connected on LinkedIn already. So yeah, drop me your research there after the call and we can continue this discussion there. All right, let's move to the next one. Okay, I am Ankit working as software engineer. Tech stack includes Java, Spring Boot, React. I want to transition to AI. I have zero experience in Python. Don't know where to start with different oceans. Guide me how I can master this within less time. All right, all right. So you know React already, SQL भी आता है, Java भी है. Okay, so I think you're like proper full stack developer. All right, all right. Have you seen uh, the roadmap video that I had? We had taken a session on how to learn or how to go into AI. Just yes, no, just mention in the chat. No, okay. Uh, I am on a different system actually. Can someone uh, who attended that the title should be something like 5 projects to add in your road. What is it? 5 AI projects to add in your portfolio, something like that. Did someone attend that session? Like yes, no. Just put it in the chat. Yeah, it's there in the YouTube. Yes, yes. If you just go to that, I think you can sort of follow that. If someone attended that session and they have that link handy, if you can just put it in the group. Like I said, like if I'm not on a computer, so if I just go back here, this call will end and I don't know what will happen. So if someone uh, If you found it already, great. But if you sort of have that link handy, just share on the group. Okay, I think this is Sridhar. We have not touched, right? Okay, I have 4 years of experience, 3 years of experience in Node.js. Currently at NBFC, most of my interviews are without DSA. All right, now I want to target SDA2s. I'm stuck between system design, DSA, and sometimes learning Java Spring Boot. Most of the companies are for Java. I don't see any progress of these. Uh, all right. Currently at 14 no hikes this year. In a current org size of 10, I can have some time of preparation. So I'm thinking of waiting for at least 6 months. Got it. Got it. So you know the things already, which is system design, DSA, Java. So you have the um, roadmap or the, what do you say, the building blocks already. Now it is more about the implementation, so to say. Right. So what I would recommend, Sridhar, is let's talk one on one, and that will sort of. I'm just sharing the link in the chat. You can book a one on one here, and basically we'll have to go deeper into what you have tried and what is not working, and then why is it not working, what will work for you, and then so it's like goal ये है, उस goals के लिए we need to do few action items. Whose action items ka execution you have done a certain way, which have not worked. We'll go fourth level, final level deeper, why they have not worked. Then, so level one goal, action item, execution, then why did it not work. Then, uska paddle mein we'll go to knowing you, you know yourself as a person, knowing you, and why they did not work. What, if changed, might work for you as a building block foundational setting. Looking at those tenets of how things have worked for you, usse we design the execution, and then we sort of do the action items, and then we reach the goals. So this is more of an execution discussion, which cannot happen in like a 2 minute, 5 minute setting. So let's talk one on one. I've shared the link in the chat. Let's talk. Okay, Vidushu says, I have 4 years of experience, mainly in front end, along with back end. I have recently switched my job 3 months back. All right, congrats. From a service based company to a product based company. All right, double congrats. I am at a point where I'm confused about the best way to grow. What should my next step be? Should I explore product management, pursue certifications, and focus on something else? Uh, give me more context, Vidushi. Uh, why product? Certifications for what? Like, so you mentioned you know front end, you know back end, and service a product you have moved. Now, like what is the goal? Certifications in React or SQL. Right? If you've done 4 years of front end, so I don't think you need a certification in React. 4 years of work experience is like more than good for a certificate. Um, SQL, again, if you've done backend, then certification is not needed. If you have not done, see, what is certification? Certification is a replacement for your actual work. So if work may you don't have an opportunity, let's say if you are into front end at work and you want to go to back end or full stack, and there's no opportunity in your work, then you can do a certification. So that sort of shows that, hey, you know this particular skill. But in your case, if you've already done, then certification won't matter. Product management, yeah, something else. That is something like I would say I'll be very honest with you. The major blocker you already crossed, right? Front end se back end you have come, service se product you have come. Like this is where more than 85% of people get stuck. If you have done this, then you can actually chill for a while also. Like that's also totally okay. If you don't like, if you still want to like continue uh, on this, acceleration, then I would recommend that you mentioned product management. Yeah, focus on something else. I would suggest that you go deeper into backend. Um, so like SQL may I'll just share like give me some things that like if I have to say there are like select queries, join queries, there are complex joins, there are like 3 5 tables are there, then there is optimizations. Beginner, okay, I would suggest leave everything, just focus on SQL for now. So today is like 30th June till 31st December, 6 months, just do SQL, nothing else. And when I say do SQL, like just do everything in SQL. S से लेकर like whatever L तक नहीं बैठा नहीं जोक, but जितना है SQL में like just spend every hour of your free time just 6 months के लिए do SQL. That will give you a very nice base, because you don't need to immediately switch, right? You have already switched recently, so yeah, let's just do SQL for 6 months. Okay, let's go to the next one. Either we have answered. Okay. Akshay says, I'm a mobile developer with 5 years of experience, looking for transition in other roles like backend. How should I proceed with? And you also have Vysin. Do you think that will help in transition to backend role? Yes. So since you already have experience of integration, so if you're a front end developer or a mobile developer, you already would have integrated APIs with your app, right? So you already have like some understanding of how APIs work, or what are the interfaces, what are the requests, what are the response. Now, the logical next step for you is to move one level above that integration. So think of the layers, right? You are either a front end developer or a mobile developer. You are integrating with backend. So that is the next layer. Someone is already doing backend, then the next layer can be your sort of like when I say backend, can explore a little bit of DevOps also. And when you have done that, the next layer could be the decisions in backend itself, which sort of goes into product. So this is sort of the layer, and you go one level above in each chain. And when I say, someone asked right in the chat, ki, bhai, how can careers be 30 years long? The thing with careers is you will not do what you are doing. You will not be doing the same thing 30 years later, right? So I don't mean to say कि भाई आज अगर तुम वेबसाइट बना रहे हो तो 30 साल बाद भी वेबसाइट बनाओगे, ऐसा ऐसा नहीं हुआ है मतलब दुनिया में. You're doing something today, 10 years later you'll be doing something different, 20 years something different, 30 years something different. It will be still in the domain of IT. What is IT? Can someone tell me the full form of IT in the chat? All right, all right. Information technology, right? So in terms of IT, when you say IT industry does not mean कि भाई it is not tied to a particular kind of a role. ऐसा नहीं है कि if someone is front end then IT में है या back end तो IT में है. Anything which is sort of uh, related to the software side of things, which can scale. Like the biggest difference between, let's say, constructing a building. If you've constructed one building, if you have to build a new building, again, it will take days. In the software world, if you have deployed an app for one kind of a client, you want to do that for another, it is just like minutes. So that kind of duplication or replication is much easier in this industry, and that is the main differentiator compared to everything else. So in this part, this is the key building block, which is it can replicate infinitely, and then there are like separate different roles that need to be done, which is your front end, your back end, your mobile, your cloud, your product, and a bunch of other things. And people move in between those roles, right? After some time, you might already be you might maybe you might be managing a team of people, right? So in that time, you're still in the IT industry only. So yeah, that's how the careers are long. All right. Uh, yeah. So coming back to the question, yes. So if you're a mobile developer, yes, going into backend, that will sort of help you transition into a backend role. And then if you want to accelerate that learning, you can try out Bison as well. Any place where you build something by your own hand, you see concrete progress. That is like a good place to sort of upskill. Yeah. If you have a follow-up question, type question. I'll wait. If it is clear, you can type clear. Okay, I'm not sure if this person is here or not. Is Akshay here? I'm not sure. Okay. No reply. So I'll move to the next one. Sathik says, I'm a front end. Okay. Uh, I'm a front end developer with almost 5 years of experience. Currently working with SharePoint for 3 years. Learning AI engineering tools, slowly going on its path. I've also learned React a little. I need to make a switch as soon as possible. Okay. What profile should be most suitable, AI or MERN? All right. All right. When you say I want to switch as soon as possible, like give me a timeline. Like, are we saying 1 to 2 months? Are we saying 3 to 6 months? Are we saying 9 to 12 months? What do you mean by as soon as possible? 3 to 6 months. All right, 3 to 6 months, and we have. I'll go through the context again. Front end developer, 5 years of experience. All right, um, and SharePoint, AI engineer tools, slowly going React. All right, all right. AI engineer, Mon. I would suggest go for Mon because the base or the foundation skills that you have built over the last 3 to 5 years seems to be in the front end domain. So in that case, MERN will be like a more easier transition because you like when you go to AI directly, AI will always be like back end heavy. If it is if the majority of work is related to front end, then they will call it front end developer. If they're saying AI engineer, 99 out of 100 times it's going to be back end heavy. So in that case, it might. I'm not saying you cannot do it. I'm just saying that there might be an expectation mismatch, which is they might be expecting you to already have a good grasp of backend, and then you sort of are learning backend also. So in that case, I would suggest that expectation mismatch जितना कम हो life में, life is smoother. So in this current scenario, I would suggest go for Mon first, and when you have worked on a couple of backend projects, then going into AI is better in my opinion. And that is also because when you're saying that you're learning AI tools, it could also sort of change with time. So if you don't have the foundations right, then just the tools might change. So you also need to have the mental models to be able to adapt those tools uh, to the newer advantages. Okay, the follow-up question is MERN still relevant though? Okay, let's think from a company perspective, right? Uh, कंपनी को फ्रंट एंड बनवाना है, कंपनी को बैक एंड बनाना है, राइट? Company can either hire one front end, one back end person, or they can hire a person, right? So if you already are working as a front end developer, then I would, like, here's my argument: a MERN developer is more relevant than a front end developer, right? I repeat this: a MERN developer is more relevant than a front end developer because the MERN person can do two roles, front end and back end both. Similarly, a MERN is more relevant than a back end developer as well. So if you're seeing openings for front end and back end development roles, which will continue seeing for a long time. अभी जून एंड हो रहा है आज, you will still see it feels कि नहीं दिसंबर तक खत्म हो जाएंगे, नहीं होंगे भाई. Like you you don't know the amount of legacy systems that are there in the world. It front end, back end, they're not going immediately. I'm not commenting कि भाई अभी 2026 चल रहा है, 2036 में क्या होगा, that you cannot say. But still 2030 is pretty close. 2030 तक they're not going anywhere. So they're going to be there, and a MERN will always be more relevant than a front end or a back. So that's what I'm saying. Ki it's a good decision to diversify, right? Because if you're just doing one thing and you never know what the AI model specializes in next. I think there are a bunch of new tools coming up to what do you say, work on your video editing and design. So a bunch of research and new models are coming up in that domain. So what keeps happening every few months is companies pick a domain, they try to see, okay, isko kitna automate kar sakte, right? And what that sort of ends up, or how that ends up affecting us um, as knowledge workers, is that if the model is going to do a bunch of the heavy lifting already, then we don't need to spend as much time. So we have more free time. So in that more free time, if there is only a limited amount of front end work or back end work there, then we can do work in other domains as well. So if you go back to like decades ago, this role specialization has come very uh, recently. It was not there like in the early days. Early days, if you go very early days, people, like, there was one person who was making the thing and selling as well, right? Afterwards, there is this concept of a builder and a seller. Like there were like two people teams that came in. And very recently, in the last few decades, we have this specialized team of people. One person just specializing in one particular domain, etc. So, uh, yeah, it's just better that you have experience in more domains in the AI world, and especially since you have built a base in one already. If you would have just said, ki, hey, I have like 3 months of experience in React, a front end, then I won't say, ki, okay, now do something else, because उधर base ही नहीं बना है. In your case, एक जगह base बन गया है. Now it's a good time to diversify things. Does it make sense? All right. I have a question about opportunities in applied AI. Does okay, Okay, we have a few minutes left. Let's see. I think we have covered most of the things, but yeah, let's see. I have a question about opportunities in applied AI. Darshan asks, does no TypeScript engineer has opportunities and how to find them? I have 2 years of experience in Monsa plus some DevOps. All right. In that case, what I would recommend is finding like putting a lot of your applied AI experiments out there on your resume, on your LinkedIn, on your Twitter, etc. And just being more visible. Like it is not something that companies might bet for early stage people. Like companies might prefer a bit more experienced people for the AI domain because thing is it's almost like in the AI world, you need people who can steer the horse. Let's say if you're a jockey and you have a horse, you need to steer that horse. You need to have some experience. So I like if I am a company, I would rather prefer taking a more experienced person than someone who has just 1 to 2 years of experience. So how to combat that is you show your complexity um, very clearly. So you write blogs, you sort of make projects, you sort of showcase that you can handle technical complexity and try to show numbers. Ki bhai, okay, I built this and this is being used here. So if you just say that, hey, I, let's say, for example, um, for Twitter, you want to build some kind of AI chatbot on some personality, right? And you are sort of taking in all of the data, etc. So you build that for a particular person, and then you sort of start sharing on different platforms so that you get some users, and then you can say that, hey, um, I've built this, which is being used by so and so number of users, and that sort of sets you apart from everyone else. So instead of you finding them, because whenever you are finding them, there will be other people also finding them, right? So more than finding them, you need to find a way to stand out. So you stand out first, and then the word gets around pretty fast. Okay, Yashas has shared some link. I'm not clicking on the link because I feel ki bhai, it might just close the chat. Oh, I think we missed Yunus' question. We'll go through that. If there's anyone else whose question I missed, just copy paste your question in the end again, and we'll take it. Meanwhile, I'll answer Yunus's question. If nobody posts that question there, we'll end it after Yunus. But let's see. Okay. I'm a solution engineer. I'm trying to switch to core development like Mon. Many HRs are rejecting my resume, but because it is mentioned solution engineer, how do I break through this? Yunus, what kind of work you're doing in the solution engineer? Um, like just reply on your message. Is it like what? Yeah, tell me. So this is the same confusion that the HRs will also be having, right? What is solution engineer? Like, tell me something that you're doing. If you're writing something, just press enter once so that I know you're writing. Even if it is halfway, that's fine. You can edit it. Okay, I'm not sure if he's here or not. I'll move to the last question. Kshetrija asks, what are your thoughts on opportunities outside India? What skills are required that can bridge the gap of talent abroad? All right. The one line answer to this is written plus spoken communication. Give me 1 minute. I'm just getting a call. All right. Perfect. Um, what skills are required? The main thing that they look for is, I'll write it down as well. It is written and spoken communication. In terms of written, the thing is, since a lot of work there happens async. Of course, India may be in work from home offices, a lot of work happens async. But outside India, you need to be good at articulating your thoughts in a written format. So that is important. And in terms of speaking, also, they usually you might be required to talk, interact with the clients directly. They might not have, like in India, usually we have some sort of like a manager or some middle person in between who will talk to the client, and then he or she will get back to you for the requirements. In in outside India companies opportunities, you would also be interacting with the clients directly. So you will need to have very good communication, verbal communication, and it almost feels like a plug into something that we are doing uh, 1.5 months later, which is called firsttimespeakers.com. I'll just put the website in the chat as well. And if you're looking to improve your communication, that's a great place to get started. It also sort of builds up your two things. One is confidence, the other is whatever topic you choose to speak on, you will have to research on that topic also. And it's a nice stepping stone for your other meetup talks and conferences. So, if you want to improve on your communication, I would just suggest sign up to firsttimespeakers.com. I think the spelling should be correct. Again, I don't want to click the link and see that it's not working, because it will end the call. But firsttimespeakers.com. Just go to this URL. It's working. Thanks for sharing that. And that's a great way to get started. And then write a lot. Maybe spend a few hours every week on writing something. So writing, speaking, those are the two ways to um, improve on this. Cool. So we covered a bunch of things in the last 1.5 hours. What I want everyone to do is close your eyes and think back on the writing tech box. Yes. Think back on whatever things we discussed today and see whatever comes to mind first. Whatever one thing, two thing, three things, something, some takeaway that you have from the discussions we have had. It could be from your question, it could be from someone else's discussion that you're having. The reason why we did the chat in public is because sometimes you might also learn a thing or two from some others' queries. So go through everything that we discussed in the last 1.5 hours. See what your takeaways were. Type it in the chat. Don't press enter yet. We'll do a waterfall. And that is just so that you actually take away those learnings after the session as well. It could be one line, it could be two words, it could be something interesting, something that surprised you, something that was confusing, anything that you sort of are taking away from this session, from your question, from your someone else's. Just type it in the chat, and that will be a nice reminder for everyone here. So let's take 5 more seconds and let's see your takeaways in 5, 4, 3. It almost feels like the counting of a PT trainer. 2, 1.5, 1. All right, press enter now. All right. We have the first takeaway, which is working on foundations is more important than running after AI quickly from Sarthak. I think this can just be summarized. This can be a summary of the session. If you got this takeaway, uh, my 1.5 hours were well spent because this is the takeaway that I want you to have. Proof of work beats everything else. Gap education, Darshan says. We have been saying this for over 5 years now. So good that it's a nice reminder for that. Akshay says life is a marathon. I think that's a very great learning. Skills accumulate, the power of compounding, make decisions accordingly. A lot of people, you might have seen those memes of digging and then just stopping before the diamonds, gems were there. So everything, compounding is the eighth wonder of the world. So the only reason or the only way to lose in the IT game or this industry is if you stop playing. If you one day just wake up and you are so frustrated, everything is so toxic, everything, and you flip the tables. नहीं करना है मुझे कल. Like that is how you lose. So everything else should be on to the reasoning or to the decision of not dying. We discussed that trading finance example, right? Like don't die is the name of the game. All right. We'll start working for written and spoken communication. All right. Uh, I'll go back to Kolkata. I think that's should be okay. IT is not front end and back end, but everything which is related to software. So in the entire thousands of industries, there are two things which can be replicated infinitely. One is code, the other is content. Like these are the two things. There's no third thing. And Naval Ravikant has a very nice thread about this as well. Code and content. Like these two things are very much apart from everything else. So yeah. And in general, like code has much more earnings potential for everyone involved. Content में है, but content is more like actors वाला thing की a few at the top will make money, but not everyone. But code is much more accessible and better for the median people. All right, cool, folks. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for sharing the takeaways. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Have a great rest of the night. Bye bye.